Hello, everyone. And I said we'd be back around midnight. It's a few minutes after, but that's all right. All right, movies like this are exactly why this show was made. It's important that when you talk about 2001: A Space Odyssey, that you just immediately go to the car afterwards and start talking about it. No need to take a few time in between there or to collect thoughts or anything like that. No. It's just best to just jump into it right away after viewing a film like Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Just what Kubrick wanted.
Exactly. That's it, really. I mean,
why
like,
he made the movie.
When Roger Ebert wrote his original review for 2001: A Space Odyssey, clearly it was just coming directly from the screening in 1968.
Did you not like
just
it?
Typed away. No, he loves the movie.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But anyway, so it's the 50th anniversary of 2001, and I noticed last week when I was looking at the movies that were coming out on Thursday, it had 2001 listed on there as an IMAX screening, and I was already supposed to see. Oh no! Wait, it was we were in Chicago, so I was looking to see just what was coming out this weekend, and it had 2001 listed on here on the IMAX, and I was like, oh. Fuck, we're gonna be in fucking Chicago. But I was like, oh wait, it's lasting all week, not just like a one-day Thursday screening. And then I kind of forgot till Irving reminded me about it when we went to go see the Happy Time Murders.
And you're like, you want to see it in IMAX? I'm like, hell yeah, I do.
Hell yeah, I want to go see 2001 in IMAX. And it's great too, because when you go see 2001 in IMAX here, it's got the overture in front of it, and it's got the intermission. A couple of things right away. Here's what I miss about this era of filmmaking. Two things right off the bat. One, a movie from 1968 like this could be rated G in what today would probably be a PG-13.
Yeah, that would be PG-13 now. Not that there's like a lot of swear. I don't even think there's a lot of...
He says hell at one point.
Okay,
and that's it. But I mean, this was around when Planet of the Apes was rated G, and that's got like bare ass and lobotomies in it and some crazy ass shit and like corpses strung up. And also, I do kind of miss when a movie that there's a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, including the intermission, I think. It's a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, that a movie like this would, at that length, 2 hours and 20 minutes long, would have an intermission too.
I was like, I can't remember the last time in theaters that I had an intermission. I don't even know if I have. If I have, it's been a long time.
There's movies I love that do, but they're older, certainly. One of my favorite movies is The Great Race, and that's got an overture and an intermission in it. Heaven's Gate does, definitely. And also, like, you know, your Ben-Hurs and things like that.
Like, I remember when I would watch it at home with my family, and, like, there'd be an intermission, be like, all right, let's go make popcorn.
It was, I appreciated it in this. It's like, oh, okay, we can get a refill on our drink, we can shoot the shit a little bit,
we can go to the bathroom.
go use the restroom, so that was nice. Again, more things need intermissions. Hateful Eight did. Not the release that I saw of it, but there was a release of the Hateful Eight that was in some screenings. I think it was the CinemaScope one or whatever release they called it. That had like an overture and an intermission in it. I think Gods and Generals did. I want to say Gettysburg did. Other than that, I don't know
that anymore.
They need to bring that shit back.
For long movies, yeah, like something that's unnecessarily long. Like, comedies should start doing that now.
Yeah, Spy Who Dumped Me needed an intermission. They need to start the trailers 20 minutes before scheduled showtime, so that way the movie starts at 7. That's actually, I appreciated that about going to go see this. There were no trailers in front of it, so the movie just started. So that I would very, very much like. So movies need to start actually on time. They need to bring intermissions back. So you hadn't actually heard of this movie till I brought it up to you the other day.
What is this?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You'd seen this movie before.
I saw it when I was like 10, and I remember liking it when I was a kid. I think I maybe seen it I saw it at least once, maybe twice. And as a kid, I don't know why I would like this as like a 10-year-old. I don't know why. Like, I'm not saying kids can't like mature adult movies, but I don't know why I liked it when I was like 10 years old. I don't see any 10-year-old watching this and being like, oh, I like that.
Did you like other things like this when you were that age?
Yeah, I liked serious movies. Like, I was pretty mature for my age, so I kinda...
Sure, I mean, I assume so. If you're 10 years old, you're watching 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I remember liking movies. Like, you know, I like 10 Commandments and stuff.
Right.
You know, like,
yeah.
My parents kind of showed me a more adult movie. Not like adult, but you know what I mean.
That was my parents.
You know, they didn't show me Sleepaway Camp or anything.
Yeah.
They would show me more mature movies, so I kind of liked that when I was a kid. And I remember this movie a little bit more differently than...
Well, yeah, when you were describing it earlier, you were describing Alien.
No, I wasn't.
Briefly, you did.
Okay,
briefly, you just kind of mixed the movies a little bit.
There was one thing I was like, I remember that one part. I think
the android was on the table.
And I was like
okay,
it's easy to mix those two up if you remember. But stop it! Don't look at me that way. Okay, I briefly brought up like something that was from Alien, and you know, it's easy to mix those two up.
Well, I mean, it could, at least you didn't walk into this movie thinking I was taking you to 2001: A Space Travesty with Leslie Nielsen. I got a funny story. I've seen this movie many times, and one of the okay, so I was dating this girl in high school.
Are you still together?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We write to each other all the time. Yeah. So she said she wanted to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I had it on VHS. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And me being me, I'm like, oh wait, this will be really funny. So instead, I put in the Groove Tube. For those of you watching who have seen the Groove Tube, you know where I'm going with this. So the Groove Tube it's a very funny movie. It's a sketch comedy movie. It's like Kentucky Fried Movie before Kentucky Fried Movie. Chevy Chase is in it, and Richard Belzer and some other people. But the movie opens with a parody of this movie. It opens with like the monkeys, and it says "The Dawn of Man," and it's doing that, but albeit more low budget certainly than this film. So going along, she's like, oh dude, okay, this is good so far. And when it gets to the monolith part in Groove Tube, it's a television set. So they discover television, and then Move On Up by Curtis Mayfield starts playing, and the apes start like funking out.
How long did it take for her to figure it out?
Longer than it fucking should have. Like a little before the next scene where the hitchhiker takes all his clothes off and starts running naked after the girl who picks him up. A little bit before then, but a little fucking later than it should.
Was that the deal breaker?
No, I don't think. I can't remember. But
how old were you? How old was she?
I was a teenager. This is when I was in high school.
Okay,
so
well, I was gonna say if she was like in her late 20s or something, like I'd be like, oh wow.
No, teenagers.
Like maybe a teenager, I'd be like, okay. I mean,
I saw this movie for the first time when I was in junior high, I think, because I want to say I saw Clockwork Orange before I saw this, and The Shining was the first Kubrick movie that I saw. The Shining I saw at a pretty early age, but this, I want to say it was in junior high. This is a movie that Dave and I love the hell out of. This movie. I've seen this movie a lot. Dave and I used to watch it a lot when we were younger, and we were probably a little high too some of the times we were watching it. I wish we got baked before we went to go see this movie tonight. Like, I got baked in front of the Oogie Loves, but not this.
This movie, like, if I were to ever do shrooms again, like, I would.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah. Yes.
Like the was he going through a black hole? Was that what that was?
Oh, spoiler alert, honey.
Okay.
But like, this 50-year-old movie.
Okay, no, if you haven't seen it by now, like, okay.
Dave and I would watch this movie quite a bit. But anyone else that Dave and I ever would show this movie to or try to watch it with, Dave and I are like the only ones who like this movie.
You have a short attention span, but I think this movie I could see someone not liking it.
Oh well, yeah, it's not a movie that's made with the intent to please everybody. Like, no. So I remember us watching with Buford not really having any of this movie. Buford was he was in my movie. He was in Freak Out and he was in Disco. He played the same character in both movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember watching it with my mom at one point, watching it in like shifts. Like, not really. Like,
doesn't seem like your mom would like it.
Not really. My dad, I didn't even try watching this.
No, your dad would not like this
No,
movie.
he wouldn't at all. I don't even know if he's seen it. Maybe he saw it in '68 when it came out, but I can't remember. He's seen Clockwork Orange.
Did he like that?
No.
No. I was like, I don't peg him as a Kubrick fan.
He likes Full Metal Jacket. He liked The Shining.
Did he like, what's the one?
It's Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That seems like a movie.
Paths of Glory.
He doesn't seem like he would like the artsy Kubrick.
Like this?
Yeah.
My dad wouldn't no, I can't imagine my dad liking this movie very much. But, so Dave and I would watch this movie, like, quite a bit, and we would, like, come up with our own, like theories about it and shit. Like, again, probably very, very, very high watching this film.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I do love about it is how much only a person like Stanley Kubrick could make a movie like this in the way that it is, and the way it's shot, with the way it's paced.
It takes its time to show you how impressively beautiful it is.
It's gorgeous, and I've not seen this. I've seen this movie many times, but I've not seen it in the theater before. And watching this film on an IMAX, like, if you're soaking it all in when you're watching TV, when you're watching it on TV, like, multiply that by about 1,000 times, and that's watching this movie on IMAX.
Oh, God,
just little things. From the ship landing to just seeing the humans walking around in the background, when you see them through the windows on the space station, the space base, the pods, the ships, just...
Even, like, the music, how loud it really intensifies.
That's another thing about this movie that I love, and that I still do love this movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. I watched it a lot when I was a teenager, but truth be told, it's probably been 15 plus years since I've watched the movie, and it still fucking holds up to me, because Stanley Kubrick does so much storytelling and mood telling by showing you just things like when they're on space and they're just eating their food, or just drinking out of their juice box, or just laying there asleep with the pen floating in the air. Between editing, the way it's shot, the way it's framed, the way the music is, the way it's pounding, you're watching this stuff feeling like something epic is happening.
It is an epic movie.
Yeah.
Like, the music alone really sets the mood. Like, for whenever I hear the space song, like do 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 do.
Oh, yeah.
I always think of space. Like, no matter, like, when I hear that song, you always think of space.
It's been parodied a lot, too.
It's been
like
parodied,
The Simpsons.
Yeah. And also, like,
The Groove Tube.
Like, when, with the monolith, like, you always think of, when you hear that song, you just think of the monolith. Like, this song is such, or this movie is such, like, it's parodied so much.
It's like a space ballet.
It is. It really is. It's like, it's been parodied so much, so anytime you hear those songs, that's all you think about is this movie. Even if you've never seen the movie, if you hear that song, you think of space. Or if you hear
or like
the monolith, or
the opening
monkeys.
And closing music, you could also think of
apes,
Elvis Presley.
What?
That was the music what it plays at the beginning and end of this movie is the music that it would play whenever Elvis would come out.
Oh, really?
So really, if you think about it, this was the best Elvis Presley movie.
Not the identical, even though that was.
Oh, right. Sorry, this takes a back seat to the identical. Clearly.
But yeah, you always just think of even if you've never seen the movie, if you heard the song, you're gonna think of this movie.
When watching this movie again, especially on IMAX too, when it's the beginning of the movie and it's the apes and even the stuff on the space station, there's constantly something off-putting about a lot of it. Like, yeah, it's gorgeous, but it's an interesting movie to follow along with, because constantly, from the beginning of the movie to just little things like the guy asleep on the space station, to them watching TV, to them doing an interview, to them just having a conversation about this exploration they're doing and finding the monolith, there's always just some creepy vibe to the movie. Like something's watching them. Like throughout the movie, it feels like they're constantly being watched by some kind of higher power that's observing all of this. From, of course, like the monolith showing up. It's the dawn of man. The apes touch it. They then gain this knowledge to start using bones as weapons, a tool, a means for survival. They throw it up in the air, and then flash forward millions of years, this weapon has evolved into this satellite that's flying around.
There's music in it. Oh, sorry.
No, to go along with that, really, you could take like Alpha and AXL and sort of combine them into one movie.
Yeah.
Like the dog just then like bleeds into the robot dog from AXL.
Yeah.
Practically the same movies.
Same thing.
And as the movie goes along, it's shown from the opening sequence to again, the dawn of man, to how technology and all of this has evolved into this space station with these gravity boots. I really do love that it's the future of the 1960s.
I know, like, it's still, like, it is futuristic, but still manages to feel like it's in the late 60s.
It's still 1968.
Yeah, you're like...
Well, I mean... Pre-9/11, 2001 was very different. It was still kind of 1968.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, I like that kind of future movie where it's always the future of whatever decade the movie is made in. And that's this too, from like, there's all this future shit and technology, but they're even down to the acting and like the delivery.
Yeah.
No, the acting's good in the movie, but it's very like, the actors just look straight out of the 60s.
Space. Like, you know, they just kind of sound like those guys that from the 60s, and like even their hairstyle sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And their suits.
It's
and, like,
future 1960s flight attendants are in this movie.
I know. I like how so yeah, sometimes the music makes it feel creepy. Like
it does.
Like the part when they are when they get to where the monolith is
on
and
the
like
moon?
and then they like kind of like they touch it and like and then that music is like so freaky. You're just kind of like, it's suspenseful.
It is, because it makes it feel like space is scary. Like you fucking find this thing buried on the moon. Like, he is great at capturing mood in this scene, because that would be some scary fucking shit. Same with later on when David is going through the light show at the end of the movie. And so they touch it, and you just see how there's something there. There's something that has set into motion evolution, the creation of Earth, the creation of the universe, and then man itself as a creator, basically, that creates this HAL 9000 with artificial intelligence that's supposed to be completely fail-safe and everything, and it totally bites them in the ass. Like, it's so calm about it too. Like, it's unsettling.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unsettling when you watch it. And
it is very unsettling because, okay, so I remember HAL being in this way more.
That's the main thing people remember about the movie.
Maybe that's because, like, it has been parodied a lot too, HAL has been. So maybe I just remember, because it's one of the more memorable parts.
No, it is,
and he's only in it for, like, an hour?
Probably, I mean...
And I thought he was in it, like, the whole time.
No.
Like, it has been, like, 13 years since I've seen it.
Oh, so sure.
I just remember him being in it, like, almost, like, more than half of the movie.
No, like, I mean, the movie's what I remember, but I mean, I've seen the movie many times before, but, like, yeah, I mean, that's what people quote all the time is HAL, and his lines, and it is some of the more memorable scenes in the film, and you find out later what this mission is, like, kind of all about, a little bit, in that they found this monolith. It's almost sort of like this means of communication or satellite to something orbiting Jupiter, and chasing this monolith, they go through this late 60s trippy ass fucking light show,
oh
man.
my god. Watch this on IMAX and
it's awesome.
And it's creepy too. Like,
it's scary. Again, space is scary. Like, you
Yeah.
fucking chase this monolith, and it's basically through this light show showing you the creation of the Earth. That's fucking terrifying, man. I don't need to know this much knowledge.
yeah, he goes. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes, like the ending, I still.
Did you not read the book, honey?
No, I didn't.
Neither did I. Did you not pay attention in science class? This is all in there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. You need to tell me because I'm not gonna pretend I know. Like, I'm gonna look this up afterwards.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, the way that I remember when Dave and I would talk about this movie, the way that it always seemed to me, really, I don't fucking know, but like watching the ending, it, like the rest of the movie, it feels like there is something observing everyone, Earth, from the evolution of man to the technology they're creating, how that's progressed, how they've created life essentially with this HAL 9000, and again, it bites them in the ass. But when David is in that house at the end, like it again feels like he's being observed, like something that has
it was creepy.
Something that has created the universe, that has created man, or at least put in forth the evolution of man.
Yeah, why something does it keep aging gradually?
Because it's, to me, it comes across like something's observing him throughout different stages of life.
It's creepy.
In a setting that would be ideal for someone, this really nice kind of overlook hotel looking room.
Yeah.
There's some like foreshadowing of The Shining in that fucking room. That's what it seems like. And then through death, he sort of acquired all of this knowledge and almost becomes this super being by the end of it. That's how I looked at it. That's how, and granted, I'm so high. No, I'm not.
It made me feel really dumb watching the ending of this movie. I was like, I don't get it.
Well, you could watch 2010, the sequel.
Yeah, I forgot there was a sequel for a while.
It's honestly like 2010 is fine. I've seen it far less. I've seen it maybe once or twice. And I remember either time thinking it was fine. I don't ever necessarily remember thinking it felt necessary, really, but...
Yeah. Well, you said it's based off books.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't know how accurate either one of them is, but... So 2010 almost feels like it's hardly in the same universe as this. It's not shot the same. It doesn't feel the same. It's got Hal in it again, and it does. And it's got David in it again, and Bob Balaban's in it, and John Lithgow, and Roy Scheider. It's not directed or shot in a way that's trying to mimic this.
Yeah,
like,
you shouldn't try. Like, if
right.
you're Kubrick, you shouldn't try.
You should, exactly.
That just might be embarrassing.
They don't do that. It is more of a... I know people who hate this movie that like 2010, and I can see it.
I can understand, like, why someone would prefer a different style of filmmaking over, Kubrick. Kubrick is probably hit or miss for some people, I would say. Not hit or miss, but maybe, like, some people just might not like that style, like your dad, or...
My dad would probably like 2010 more than this film. And I like 2010 just fine. I know people who like this as their favorite movie and they don't like 2010, and I can see that too. It would be like if, like, Contact with Jodie Foster was the sequel to this movie.
See that one.
But... No, I've seen it. Maybe I should revisit that sometime. But I remember liking it fine. I don't like it as much as this. To me, it doesn't pack the punch that this movie does. But I see why someone would like 2010 over this film. I know a few people who do. And again, like you said, it's hard to... I mean, it would be... You don't really want to mimic that style, really.
No, if you're not Kubrick, you don't want to try and be Kubrick. Like...
Yeah, AI wasn't.
You can be an
great.
Influential, but
yeah.
AI.
There's things about AI I love, and then there's things I don't.
You said you like the whole like Judd Juke, Judd.
I did like that.
I can see why you would like that.
Oh, yeah, that whole, like, sex robot town with him as this, like, gigolo robot. I love that shit. There's things about that movie I really love.
I saw bits and pieces of it because we owned it, but I remember, like, my parents and, like, my family just didn't like it, so we just never watched it.
With Kubrick movies, I don't know where I'd rank. The thing with Kubrick movies is, even if you're on, for me anyway, because he really is the greatest filmmaker of all time.
He really is.
Like,
he is a genius.
If you're the way I'm with his movies is like, man, even if you're on like the bottom of Kubrick movies, like in my particular ranking, we're still talking about A+ movies. Like, there's movies of his I've seen, and I've seen this quite a few times, but there's ones I've seen more, like Clockwork Orange and The Shining. I'd put above this. The Clockwork Orange and The Shining are probably my two favorite movies of his. They're wildly different movies.
Like, this movie is like just like an art film. Like, it's takes its time to show how beautiful it is, how impressive it is, and it's an epic. And like you said, it's like a space ballet. Like, it really is just an art movie. And I mean, there's things about it that are like just completely different than like The Shining or like Clockwork Orange. We were talking about this like during the intermission. You're like, which one do you like more? And I was like, I gotta say Clockwork Orange is more just it's more rewatchable.
Sure.
This movie, you have to really sit down and like kind of just in a dark room just kind of watch this thing as if it's like a painting. It's a
great movie too. His movies are world building. Like, you can tell a Kubrick movie when you're looking at it, unless it's like Spartacus. You could tell a Kubrick movie when you're looking at it.
Oh yeah.
But they all have different feels, different vibes, different worlds.
This one reminded me a lot of, like, the look of it reminded me a lot of Clockwork Orange. Very sterile looking, kind of in this futuristic setting.
There's parts that look like The Shining. There's
the part with the like apartment or house.
There's all of his movies I do love. Like even Eyes Wide Shut, which I think is fucking underrated as hell.
He did that?
Yo, yeah, that was
I've never seen it.
That was his last movie, and it's a great, provocative and a half fucking movie. Like, that movie is God. I don't know where I would rank. Man, it's hard to rank a lot of these movies because there are really most of them more of them than not are A+ films. Like, Full Metal Jacket's a great fucking movie.
They're all kind of different, but you know it's a Kubrick movie when you see it.
Oh man, Full Metal Jacket's rough. I gotta show you that movie sometime. Full Metal Jacket that's a fucking movie. Holy shit. That movie just shoots you in the face with awesome.
Sign me up. Yeah, when we're done, I'm gonna have to look up on my phone, like, okay, interpretations of this movie, because this movie made me feel so dumb at the end. I was like, I feel like I should know what this means, but I don't.
Well, we'll just watch the Simpsons episode again, where he's the star baby at the end, gets hit in the head with a satellite. So I don't know where, how wide, nationwide this re-release is. If it's still playing anywhere near you, look it up. Look into it to see if it's playing on an IMAX near you.
Worth it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the 50th anniversary. I hope they do this every 10 years. I would come and see 2001 on an IMAX. Next time I gotta get
stoned.
Oh, we're gonna get so baked.
It'd be totally worth watching this stoned in an IMAX.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might get a little bit paranoid. I get a little bit paranoid now when I smoke. So
you're gonna go home and just bash our computers. Like, God damn it.
It's watching me.
Oh, that's another. Alright. So.
What?
David and Pool on this, almost kind of got what was coming to him,
yeah.
like, with, like, all right, guys, like, I understand you're taking these precautions to talk behind Hal 9000's back to talk about disconnecting him, but you could have tried a little harder. Like, all right, you go inside the pod and you're like, hey, Hal, turn the pod around, and he doesn't. It's like, okay, all right, he can't hear us. Man, if I would just at least be like, okay, well, this thing could be fucking with us. At the very least, we could turn our backs so the thing won't be reading our lips, because even if no one told me that thing could read lips, I would assume HAL 9000 can fucking read lips.
Yeah, that thing's smart. Like, especially, okay, so if you're talking shit about someone, you don't, like, keep looking at them.
Yeah, like, Pool keeps looking over at him.
They're like, so this thing here, I don't know if I trust him.
I don't know if I trust the Hal over there that's sitting there watching us. Guys, turn your backs. Seriously.
I know, like, why you don't, when you talk shit about someone, you don't keep looking at them and glancing over at them and, like,
mm-hmm. I would have just left him plugged in and be like, well, let's see if he's right about this satellite failing. I don't want this to turn into Event Horizon. I like my skin where it's at.
Yeah, I had a blast watching this.
I did too. I had a great time rewatching this again.
I mean, I'm tired.
It is very late.
It's gonna sound bad, but towards the end, because I'm not a night owl, like, I kind of, like, was a little bit, like, heavy-eyed. Not that I wasn't, like, enjoying what I was watching. I totally was. My eyes were getting heavy.
She actually slept through the whole movie. She just read the Wikipedia synopsis before we got into the car.
No.
You ready to go to bed?
Oh, yes, I am.
That's another thing about space movies, too. We get turned on.
We're gonna get laid.
I think the smart TV is watching us. All right, everyone. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. That was fun to talk about. It was fun to go see again too. So, everyone, take care. Tomorrow I'm gonna be at Operation Finale, and then I think Kin on Thursday.
I don't know what I think about that movie.
It's out Labor Day weekend. It's probably gonna be terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. It just looks kind of lame.
Yeah, lame. That's Labor Day weekend for you as far as movies are concerned. So, all right, everyone. Thanks a bunch for watching. Take care.
Bye.